I'm Bruno. We're in my studio right now in Freeman's Bay, Auckland. I was a terrible student at uni because I didn't like fashion and I didn't know any brands. My clothes were from my dad's cupboard or from secondhand stores. I spent 3 years secretly sewing after class, like taking apart garments and learning how things really went together and just ripping things up. And then, yeah, left uni and sort of traveled a bit and decided, went to New York. Around Christmas time on like Sackville Avenue, you see sort of what is quite disgusting in terms of these just throwaway clothes, which are just like bought and then trashed and then bought and then trashed. And it was sort of, I didn't have a plan of how to change it. It was more a plan of how I wouldn't add to it. I don't want to add more waste. My mum's an artist. I thought, why can't I do it like an artist does it? Why can't I just sell one-off things? Because that's funner to me. Each thing you can give a lot more of its time. But yeah, I kind of wanted to be an artist, but my medium just happened to fall into textiles. I basically started collecting a lot of wool blankets because New Zealand wool blankets are kind of a classic piece, and you can get them anywhere in any op shop for relatively cheap, and they're all in pretty good nick because it's hard-wearing wool. So I designed up the jacket and just started making heaps, and I sort of managed to sell them all. And you'd sell them to people and they'd have this immediate nostalgia where they'd remember blanket patterns and be like, oh, I grew up with that one. It was the concept intrigued them, it felt more than just the garment itself. This one's kind of funny. It was an old kite surfing sale. And my friend actually works for this company that does sales. So he got me a new patch and trims, well, like scraps from these.
There's no question in my mind that design is part of the solution to the problems that the fashion industry is facing. And we're striving to make products that last a long time and that have the least impact on the environment. What Bruno's able to do is breathe new life into those things, and I think that's a truly wonderful thing. I first became aware of Bruno's work when I saw his tent jacket, and what I loved about that is he was able to take an old canvas tent and make an entirely new garment out of it, and yet you can still see the spirit of the tent in that garment. And I loved that, and I thought, well, wouldn't it be great if we could do something like that with the Macpac product?
My dad, Chris, he had a textile manufacturing company and works as a textile agent who supplies and has for a while Macpac with fleece and other sort of outerwear products. All my hand-me-down outdoor gear was old Macpac stock and things he was trialing.
We invited Bruno to come down to our office and sort of review a bunch of the old garments and leftover fabrics that we'd collected over the years, and just gave him the challenge to see how he would apply his style and his design ethos to those old fabrics.
The opportunity to work with Macpac is amazing because it's what I pictured starting this. If I could make relationships with companies where they have these scrap materials which they can't use, but I can come in and be like, hey, instead of sending the stuff to the landfill, give it to me.
How are you going to make a jacket into a cooler jacket?
I can't explain it until I start chopping into it or look at it all. So I'm going to have to open up the seams and then cut new
seams off there.
Yeah, and then make new seams for the panels, which is going to be interesting. So usually I try to go for bigger things like tents.
Yeah, so will this be the first time
canvases
using
such a small item?
Right.
Which is quite
it's
cool.
going to be quite bitsy, eh?
Yeah. So I'm quite excited.
You're excited, I'm stressed.
Yeah. When I got all the goods, a lot of them were garments. And I tend not to work with garments because if you're trying to make a jacket out of a jacket, you tend to want to use the sleeve as a sleeve, the hood as a hood. In theory, you're just cutting it down and reshaping it. The hardest challenge was the incredible amount of choices. I could probably make 30 pieces, but I'm making 6. So it took a while to begin the initial process. We need to make things that are obviously more streetwear than your technical, but still built strong enough that they would work. What I make, I like to wear, outdoors, properly, not something that is just made purely for aesthetic reasons. Working with discarded fabrics basically means you get a fabric, and you only have that amount of that fabric. So you have to sort of plan, think, plan, then, because if you cut and make a mistake, you can't get more of it. When you're cutting into things like tents or windsurfer sails or sleeping bags, you want to take the details from what that was. The end garment has, sort of pays reference or homage to what it originally was. Like a tent flap can be a vent on a jacket, I put the garments on, I wear them around. This needs a pocket here, this needs to be here. This is an empty space where this should have this doesn't need this. Everything is reasoned, The inside must be as beautiful as the outside. Everything must has purpose. I want lots of pockets. I like to carry things, But you don't want to look like you're wearing a tent.
I'm the 8th Avenger.
It's sort of an initial laying of colours and materials to see what works. And then as you start laying out your pieces, sort of seeing which elements add to each other and how you can benefit. Originally it was sort of just going to be, I'd always wanted it puffer on the top and then the canvas. And then as I started coming up the tent, I realised I could use the original tent straps to turn the entire bottom into a large pocket, which would, as a hiking jacket, I like a jacket with lots of pockets because you can carry everything you need.
What he's come up with is fantastic. I think it's a real testament to what you can achieve when you've got that kind of vision and creativity.
Oh, your hands are still warm.
Adding small, slight features that if you thought about it and looked about it enough, you'd figure out where that came from. It's quite fun to see a bit and realise that small piece was part of the original.
I used to watch you. I used to need you.
I designed to make each thing as perfect as it can be without taking into account any time. In the end, you get a better result, and you're still getting perfectly fine and durable, long-lasting fabrics. And fabrics that, no one really else will have.